Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Option Menu Crew podcast. We have episode 27 today. Your crew today is me, Ryan, and with me today is Ed.
Hi, I'm here, and I'm really happy to have actually had my wish granted this E3. So, as you know, Metroid Dread. So,
and we're gonna get into that.
pretty pleased. And I have other stuff to talk about, but that's it for me. I'll just go home now.
Don't go yet. We've got a full episode ahead of us, and we have Mike.
Oh, what's going on?
And today, as Ed was alluding to, we are talking about E3 2021. We're going to talk about our thoughts, the announcements we cared about, how we felt about the format. And to kick it all off, we're diving straight in today. We didn't get Switch Pro. What the heck? Why was there no announcement? We know it's been leaked. We know it's there. The only thing we don't have is Nintendo confirming it and just showing us the hardware, giving us the release date and the price and whatnot. But like almost all the information's out there, or at least enough information for us to make educated guesses. But yeah, Nintendo's E3 presentation was really awesome, but we didn't get a Pro. Guys, your thoughts too.
I really need it. I mean, I'm having enough issues, maybe sort of real, but like my original Switch hardware and Joy-Cons are sometimes they're on the edge of not exactly working like I want them. So I'd be happy to shell out the money just to get a new piece of hardware. So even if, but it has to be an upgrade, So where is it?
I don't think it exists. There's no Switch Pro. There's only going to be the Switch 2. I don't think there's going to be a Switch Pro. There might be like a super slim Switch or something like that, but I don't think there's going to be a Switch Pro.
A lighter light, a featherweight.
Yeah, well, it might be bigger, but thinner. I don't know.
Baby Switch, like the Mario babies.
They had like the Air, the MacBook Air, like that, but like the Switch Air.
So, yeah, all the reputable sources were showing it, and the follow-up reports from E3 were basically like Nintendo is probably suffering from the chip shortage and the silicon shortage. That's plaguing the entire electronics industry.
Yeah, silicon.
Yeah, the follow-up reports are basically like they've probably got the shortage there. I'd hope that Nintendo's stocking them up and is anticipating a huge launch, because I think what was the PlayStation 5, what did they stock up? What was the number, like 5 million for launch or something like that?
That's not enough.
It's not enough, but it's a start. You always got to start somewhere, and that might have been at the very start of
Nintendo's gonna have shortages anyways. They're gonna underproduce it
They want shortages,
right? But we can always hope. We can hope against reality. So yeah, there's that. Also, I read a Polygon article that made some really good points, calling back that Nintendo actually hasn't debuted new hardware at E3 for a long time. They've always made the last couple announcements at weird times, either after E3 or just not at E3. So like the 2DS, the new 3DS, and the Switch Lite, and even the Switch, like none of those were debuted at E3. They were always done at some point, and then E3 just had like a showcase event for the post the announcements eventually. So Nintendo gonna do Nintendo. It is really disappointing that they didn't like Cave and that we didn't get to see this. And yeah, my big sticking point is that I'm just tired of so many games not running at 60 frames per second, or not even being able to maintain a steady 30 FPS, despite what is already well-known limitations of that hardware. So it's been disappointing. I've held off on a couple games, like I won't get the new Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity until that can be at 60. I will happily emulate that and mod it at 60, and I'd like to say I'd buy a copy still in support, but like I might be like, no, you got to get your stuff together, my guys. Like
everything just has to be in 2D on the Switch.
Yeah, right. So there's that. But that's like the one thing we all had consensus on. We were really excited. We were hoping that the rumor was true that Nintendo was going to cave and announce it early so third parties could start saying it in their announcements. But we had plenty of other positive points to talk about with E3 and more thoughts to go. And we're gonna start with Ed. And so tell us, what good happened to you at E3?
Well, E3 could have come and gone for me and just had one announcement, and I would have been satisfied, and that was Metroid Dread. And that is the fifth mainline title of Metroid. The mainline series being the 2D games with Metroid, Super Metroid, Return of Samus, Fusion, and now Dread. And that was, I kind of was thinking there was going to be a 2D Metroid coming because Mercury Steam did Samus Returns. I think they're a Spanish developer, and they did a good job. And I don't, nothing came out from them for a while. So people are still working there. They must be working on something. So it was kind of in the back of my mind that was going to happen. But I was really pleasantly surprised, almost shocked that they revived the name Metroid Dread, because that was rumored back, as far as 2005, 2006. There were leaks about that in video game magazines before even people were watching stuff on YouTube. It was rumored to be started, and it was supposed to be a DS game, and it was just a real pleasant surprise to see that come back. And I really do like that they used that subtitle, and it's a nice nod to people who have been waiting for it for, what do they say now, 19 years, because 2002 was when we got Prime and Fusion, and those were the last new entries. Well, no, Prime doesn't count because that's an offshoot, but Fusion was what we got in 2002, and that was the last new mainline entry. So
right,
I'm just thrilled, and it looks really good. I mean, I haven't played it. I saw what they did at the Nintendo Treehouse. I saw the gameplay. I saw these new robots that they have chasing you, which I think they're taking in a direction that makes sense given the way that the end of the a Fusion turned out. So I'm really excited for that. I know you're gonna play it, Ryan, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna buy it. Totally gonna buy it.
Mike, do you think you'll buy it? Do you think I can convince you to vote with me for more Metroid games?
I'll probably buy it just because.
That's a good enough reason for me.
Now, we've already had the conversation off the podcast about this, but we gotta have this the brief snippets for the listeners. Ed, they announced a special edition and the amiibos. So tell the audience how much you're willing to spend on those things.
I'm not getting the special edition. I might be convinced to get the amiibos if it comes to the point where I can walk into a Best Buy and get them. The special edition for me, I like the steelbook. I'd pay an extra $10 for the steelbook, maybe even $20. But I'd almost pay the same amount just for the steelbook, because I don't want a bunch of art stuff around my house. I'm not a big art book guy for the most part, and I think for the most part those the art books that come with special editions are usually pretty forgettable. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe these are great, but it's not an incentive for me to buy it. The amiibo, it's kind of lousy that they're locking features behind it. I just almost can't support anything about that practice. But it's not as bad as Samus Returns, because if you wanted to play on the hardest difficulty in Samus Returns, you actually had to get the amiibo to scan it. So if you wanted to challenge yourself, you were spending an extra $30. This time you get what do you get? You get an extra energy tank and more missiles.
I was gonna say, yeah. Let me recap what those features are. Also, the point of that was I wanted the listeners to know that Ed is a fake Metroid fan. Because he has been clamoring, if you've listened to our previous ones, for a new Metroid game, this specific Metroid game pretty much, and is not willing to buy the special edition and the amiibos at any price to support them. I'm just joking. I'm just teasing.
Well, if they told me Metroid Dread was $100, I would plop my C note right there on the counter at GameStop, but I don't have to.
Bonus. I actually saw this because I was Ed. I sent you that video earlier of the Metroid cosplayer reacting to the Metroid Dread reveal, and it shows in their direct. So the Japanese direct, it shows that those amiibo are going to be sold separately in Japan, but we are only
Really?
getting the bundled versions in the U.S. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, you might be
Interesting.
able to pick those up from one of like the Japanese import stores. You might pay a little bit more money, but if you really did just want like the Samus one, you could totally do it. Um, it's going to exist in a separate format, but not in our country. I don't know why they do that weird stuff. Maybe that'll change if they keep seeing the pre-order numbers like go through the roof. Um, but for our listeners, the official features of the two amiibo. So there's a Samus in her new suit, her dread suit or whatever. I don't know what the official name is. The feature is that when you tap it, it will give Samus an extra health tank. That's to say there's already a bunch in the game, and this gives you one bonus one. And also, it has a daily function where you can tap it once a day on there to get uh, to refill health. We didn't say if it was full health or if it's whatnot, or at least I didn't see a source that confirmed exactly how much health it'd
I
be.
think I saw somewhere said it would fully refill your health and missiles, so I think it is a full heal.
That would make sense. And then for the Emmy, which is the robot, the new robot designs, that one is it gives you an extra set of missiles, which I think was an extra 10.
10. 10.
And then also same thing every day you tap it, either it's a full refill like Ed said, or I think it was 10 as well. So I'm mixing up the numbers into my memory, but those are the features. In my opinion, that's not I don't think that's abusive. I think that's just like, okay, well, it'd be like for Zelda, you get your 20 hearts, then we're gonna give you a 21st heart if you use the amiibo. I'm like, okay. Okay. So to me, I don't think it's that bad. I'm not planning on buying the amiibos in general, just because. Um, I'm not also buying the special edition. I'm gonna buy the digital copy, which is kind of the main reason that I don't need any of that stuff. Although I would like to take a look at the art book, but in my previous history with special editions, very few actually have a sizable art book. It usually ends up being like very small, which for someone who
It's like
likes to
this. It's like the size of the case, you know.
right,
They don't want to put a bigger box in than
yeah,
they do for the game.
unless it's already a bigger box in general,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, but I've never claimed to be a huge Metro fan. I do like Metroid in principle. I haven't beaten a lot of the games. I haven't even really played any of the 2D ones. I've played the Prime games. I played some of one. I beat all of three, and I did want to play Samus Returns, but maybe they'll do a port of that now to Switch instead of keeping it locked to the 3DS. Yeah, please, Ed, continue.
Oh, where was? Yeah, I mean, that's Metroid is like number one for me. Pretty much anything else behind that is just kind of a bonus. But there really were some good surprises there. Uh, Guardians of the Galaxy. Who is developing that? It's published by
IDOS.
Square Enix. IDOS? Yeah, okay.
IDOS Montreal.
IDOS Montreal, yeah. So that came out of nowhere. Was that even rumored anywhere? I don't remember hearing anything about a Guardians of the Galaxy game being rumored.
It was announced a long time ago alongside Avengers, I believe, or shortly after like Square Enix confirmed that they were doing an Avengers deal. And then it was like, yeah, it's basically almost back to back news or something like, oh, they're doing an Avengers game. Oh, they're also going to do a Guardians game. And then it just was quiet. The Guardians game was not really talked about. It was just like known it's still in development, and there was no words whether or not something had ceased or not ceased. And then Avengers hit, and that was the main focus. So I guess there was some rumblings that they were going to finally show Guardians, but I was not aware of that personally going into the C3.
Well, I'd never heard anything about it, so it was brand new to me at least, and it looks fantastic. Like I loved all the design. I actually did like the designs on the main characters. I thought they were good. I mean, they're not the movie, but I thought they did a good job. Whereas, like, I remember me and a lot of people would look at the designs they revealed when they showed Avengers, and people were not happy with them. But I thought they were really good for Guardians, and the environments. I don't have a PS5 quite yet, and I kind of been dragging my feet on getting one because there hasn't been anything like that I feel like I must play on PS5. But this is one that I feel like I would have to play on next gen, now current gen, because I don't want to miss out on the visuals that they are able to do. And I don't know how much it's going to affect things, but I feel like these cross-gen games might end up having really poor load times on the old one systems, but that's kind of a bonus. But I don't want to miss out on the visuals when I do play this game, so that's another thing on the list. I'm starting to think about how I would get a PlayStation 5, which is the next-gen console I would get first.
Okay. Any other games that stuck out to you? Super positives?
Well, there's Psychonauts 2, which is another long-awaited sequel. I really liked the first one when I played it years ago, and I've been really excited for that one. And I can't believe it. Like, I was thinking about it like a couple weeks ago, and I was thinking, well, maybe it won't even make this year, but it's coming out in August. I mean, all these games, you know, Metroid, Guardians, now Psychonauts 2, and I was also going to talk about Shin Megami Tensei 5, which they're imminent. I guess, like, you know, they're 2, 3, 4, 5 months out, but that's really close considering a lot of these games have been either, you know, they've been awaited for many years. So it's exciting if you're interested in those games. So it was a pretty good E3 for me. I mean, it wasn't like the most expansive, but for the niche that I find myself in, that's it. They got me covered.
That's awesome. All right, thank you for that. And so next we're going to move on to Mike. Mike, what were your E3 highlights, man?
Well, first off, I was pretty disappointed that there was no Mario Kart 9. Like, come on. No, but in all seriousness, I was pretty excited about the new Mario Party game that they showed off, where they were bringing back classic stages from the original N64 one, along with like past like the top collection of mini games over the years. So that was pretty neat to see. And then also the WarioWare micro games collection. I mean, they're both like party type games, but like I enjoy playing those with friends, or yeah, those, I think those types of games are fun. So I like seeing both of those. I did watch the footage of Guardians, like Ed was talking about, and I enjoyed the Avengers game. So I mean, I don't see why I wouldn't enjoy this one.
I think that's something all three of us are gonna get. I would guess. I don't
Sounds
know.
like it.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's probably a lot different than the Avengers game, but it still looked interesting to me. I don't know if you had any more details on that game.
Well, it's not going to be multiplayer. It's just single player only, which they decided, which is, I think, is smart considering how Avengers turned out. Not that I don't enjoy the core combat or Guardians, for Avengers, excuse me. All Guardians also looks good too. But yeah, the game will be single player only. You only play as Star-Lord, and he'll just have reaction commands, or I shouldn't say that. He'll have like shortcuts and hotkeys to call in the assist attacks from the teammates from the other Guardians, and they will of course be on the battlefield fighting as well. But it'll be a single player action, a semi-RPG campaign that also seems to have like dialogue and relationship choices, kind of a la Mass Effect, for a lot of people. So that's as much as we know right now. It is announced for, I don't know.
There's action too, right?
It's yeah, it's real-time combat. You're gonna be.
Oh, okay.
No, it's a Guardians of the Galaxy visual novel.
You will be doing real-time action like Avengers, but you're only Star-Lord. There's no multiplayer. You can't take control of the other Guardians. They're just going to be like hotkeys, so there'll be extra abilities that you can kind of call in.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, from the trailer, I thought that it was going to be like an action-type game.
Yep, that's true, 100%.
And then also the new, they announced the new Super Smash Brothers fighter.
Yep.
For us from Tekken, right?
Yep, Tekken. Kazuya Mishima.
I'm not going to try and say that.
Kazuya Mishima.
Yeah, Kazuya is his first name. So, Yeah, Kazuya's been in the most Tekkens. He's
What
he,
was he doing? Just throwing everybody off a cliff?
yeah, that's an inside joke from Tekken lore because his father is called Heihachi. Heihachi. Hay isn't like horse. Horses eat hay. And so Heihachi, he's that old guy you saw for like a split second in the gameplay trailer in the back of the stage for Kazuya. So the thing is that like the dude is like really weird and strict and threw Kazuya off a cliff when he was a child to like test his strength. But there's more lore reasons, but I won't bore you guys with it. But it's become a running joke um, in the series because it's such an absurd thing to toss a literal like 5-year-old child off a cliff. And there's been like they've referenced it multiple times. So it is it is a recognizable thing from the Tekken fan base, and also they did a really bunch of funny skits where, if you didn't notice, all the series that were shown to be tossed, all the characters from the series that were shown to be tossed off the cliff, minus Kirby and Fire Emblem, was how they tossed off Captain Falcon of the F-Zero, dead IP, tossed off Pit from Kid Icarus, dead
Yeah,
IP.
but Kirby survived.
Right, right. Hey, that's like the joke changed, but you can the first three, and then he threw off Min Min from Arms, a probably dead IP.
Yeah.
Who knows if they'll make an Arms 2 and do it and try to do a do-over. And then he threw off Marth, but Marth is from Fire Emblem, which obviously we know that series is keeping going, but maybe that was a nod to like the Fire Emblem Warriors thing. And then yeah, at the end they did the joke where he tried throwing Kirby off, and Kirby just flew back on, which was that was a great gag.
Yeah, that was good. Oh man, that's got to be depressing if watching that if you're a F-Zero or Kid Icarus fan.
What does that mean for Fire Emblem? It's dead.
I think
No,
it's just a
just
joke
kidding.
that it's like it showed the two and it's like trying to kill Fire Emblem, or at least because there's also like the Fire Emblem has a growing fan base now, and Fire Emblem because of Smash and in terms of uh what people don't like about Smash is that they feel there's too many Fire Emblem characters. So I think that was like a weird almost double entendre style joke.
Did he throw Samus off? Can't remember.
Of course he didn't. That series is dead. Samus didn't get thrown off. So yeah, no, that was a good. Oh, they threw the first character they threw off at the very beginning was Ganondorf, which was like a reference to the latest Tekken 7, where there's a cutscene and he no spoilers, but Kazuya gets to throw someone off the ledge there, so that was kind of a reference. Yeah.
Nice.
So what were your other highlights?
I was excited for the new Game and Watch that they announced with the
Zelda one.
Zelda one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, I have the Mario Game and Watch, and I like take that everywhere I go. So to have like another,
it's your watch. It's your watch. You can't leave house without your watch.
Yeah, like how else am I supposed to know the time? Like, I don't have any other device that could actually tell me what the time is.
Of course. Are you gonna get some like are you gonna hot glue the two together so they're just back to back so you can just always switch and turn it over whenever you want to use it?
Yeah, but that would be too big then. I don't know. Well, I could get pants with like multiple pockets, and I can have one Game and Watch.
Modern
like,
solutions require modern problems. Or other way around. Modern problems
the cargo
require
pants buy at work.
Well, the really good thing about it, I mean, yeah, it's not very comfortable to hold, but
Nintendo, Mike, I'm gonna send you a link to a Nintendo themed fanny pack. Don't worry, I got you covered, bro.
The battery life, like those things last forever. So like, and not forever, but like, mine still has a charge from like a month ago. Like you probably have to charge it like once a month. So like. There's
it depends on how much you play it, I would assume, but yeah, that's pretty impressive that it's still. Yeah,
I mean, it's light. You can just, if you're in bed, you can just sit back and play it, or
yeah, Switch is way too heavy to play in bed.
Yeah, I mean, you got to have muscles for that. So. But yeah, the Game & Watch was pretty cool to see. What else was there? There was the Halo game they showed off.
You're excited for Halo? For Halo Infinite?
Yeah, I think it'll be cool to at least try and see how it is because I played the last one, so see how it is.
Do you play the multiplayer, or are you just gonna try the campaign?
I'll probably try both. I mean, it's coming to regular Xbox, right? Xbox One.
As far as we know, it still is. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll definitely try it on there because yeah, I have Game Pass right now. I don't
Nice.
know. Did they announce like what date it was coming out?
No, just holiday, so they're gonna have a follow-up event later because
Okay.
they didn't show off too much extra.
Oh, maybe my Game Pass will be expired by then.
You could always re-up. Just pay $10 for the month. It's cheaper than paying 60
Uh,
for.
yeah.
Multiplayer is free though, so you don't even have to pay for the multiplayer. It's just if you want to play the campaign.
Okay. So I can. Yeah. Well, I want to play the campaign. I think the campaigns is like the best part of Halo.
Well, then you don't have to pay
But what
60
I'm
for
hearing
that.
is you did not see a reason to renew your Game Pass subscription. So and so
I
guess
never said that.
What it sounds like.
Microsoft has failed you.
We'll see. We'll see.
No,
I mean,
will,
I only need to renew it for 1 month so I can beat the game, right?
Yeah.
yeah, that's not what they want you to do. But I will say just a little bit of a tangent that I am starting to see the value proposition of Game Pass from what they announced. There's a few things that I would try coming up. So that it seems like they are taking steps towards making it a service that they really need to pull those subscriber numbers.
Then I saw they announced Just Dance 2020. Pretty excited. No, I was just kidding. I don't care about that. Yeah, those were like some of my highlights, and then Super Monkey Ball might be fun to try because like I've played it at like friend's house before when I was younger on the GameCube, so maybe that would be a cool one to try because it's like a collection of all three games. So might be interested in
Isn't
that.
a collection of more? Because they showed off like a ton in that montage, but
Oh,
they didn't
but
make it really clear.
there's mini games too.
There
I
are
think
mini
there's like
games.
yeah, those would be fun party games.
Yeah. I
I don't
wanted
know.
to
We'll see.
see. I wanted to get a better idea of how many, what's in that collection. Because if
I
it's,
thought it was 3. Is it more?
I don't know. The montage.
Oh.
All I know is that the montage shows off like 8 to 10. It showed off like every game in the series. It was weird. But yeah, who knows? Maybe it's a really big value. It could be.
Oh, here it says the Ultimate Super Monkey Ball Experience. More than 300 stages from Super Monkey Ball, Super Monkey Ball 2, and Monkey Ball Deluxe.
Okay.
Go bananas with 12 fun mini games, including Monkey Racing, Monkey Soccer, Monkey Bowling, Monkey Baseball, and more.
Wow, that sounds good.
Up
Hopefully
to
it.
4 friends. Oh, it says local co-op, so probably no online.
Well, maybe it'll get updated. Hopefully it'll maybe and maybe it'll come to other consoles too, because it's Sega, so it's not doesn't have to be Nintendo exclusive.
That's true.
So hopefully they'll do that.
That's all I have.
Okay, cool. So for me, yeah, I'm echoing a lot of the stuff there, but from what I looked, there was a number of indie games that I ended up wishlisting on Steam that were really cool. And there were still more like announcements that trickled out outside of the stuff there, because I watched the Devolver, I watched Nintendo, I watched Square Enix, I watched Capcom, and I did watch the Razer one, but that ended up being a huge waste of time. It was just a giant press release, and it was awful.
The what? Razer who?
Razer accessory maker. They make the computer.
Okay.
Yeah. So, when it came to the games, like, yes, I'm super hyped for Guardians as well. That was a super big surprise, and when I saw that it was just like exactly the kind of games I love, and then when they had the dialogue choices a la Mass Effect, I just freaked out. I was losing my mind. The Black Panther DLC looks really cool. I just keep hoping they keep working on Avengers and get that
Oh,
game
I
to.
forgot about that. I saw that too.
Yeah, I hope they get that to a great spot. I'm really surprised they didn't have anything Spider-Man to show for that, but I guess that makes sense. They want to, especially with everything that happened with Chadwick Boseman, so they wanted to focus on Black Panther. But it's Spider-Man is probably going to be shown off closer to the release of Spider-Man 2 on PlayStation 5. That makes a lot of sense. I was hoping they at least like show a teaser, but I hope that game keeps getting better. I know they're still doing content updates. They really need some more new characters to really spice it up, and the extra story stuff is always fun. That game's fun to play, so I'm rooting for it, but I'm not ready to go back to it. Um, Square Enix did show off some stuff that I was interested in. Finally got some more information on Babylon's Fall, which is developed by Platinum Games, which is really cool. It's a new IP. It was kind of double-edged sword though, because apparently that game is going to be now like games of service with co-op. So it's cool that there's co-op, and that's going to be like that games of service type thing. And I feel like this is going to be like it's a situation with like their Xbox Steel game. Oh my God, I'm Scalebound. I feel like what's happening is that like Square Enix told them like you got to make a games of service. You can't just make this. I would love to see an interview where Platinum says like, no, we always wanted to make a multiplayer, take another crack at like a multiplayer game. So what we Square Enix, we had our idea, we went to Square Enix and they agreed with it. But based on the way it looks, I feel, and the last trailer they had that did show gameplay with only one character, I feel like in between then and now, Square Enix told them, like, especially after Avengers fell through, they're like, you have to do a games of service or else we're like not gonna fund it. That's my gut feeling. There's nothing to
You
substantiate
think
that.
that's a lesson that Square Enix learned from it? Not that maybe making everything a games as a service is a bad idea, just that no, we need to try again.
Yeah, I don't think Square Enix learns its lessons the easy way, or else they would be on a totally different path if they were. Then they announced the recently rumored and confirmed for this Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin, which the leaks were saying was going to be some sort of like Final Fantasy 1 tie-in, and it was going to be Dark Souls-like, and it is created by Team Ninja of Koei Tecmo, and that's pretty much what it is. It has Garland slash Chaos, which, yes, I know you've heard that word a ton of times. The internet is losing its mind over how poor the writing was in that trailer. People were really harsh on its graphics, which I didn't think they were that bad, but I guess people are a lot more spoiled now considering what we've been seeing out of uh, current, well-made current gen to next gen game, or I guess this is the next gen is now current gen games. So I didn't think it looked
And
that bad.
there's a demo out for that right now, isn't it? Till June 26th. Just
June 24th, and
June.
yes,
Yeah.
so
Your racing buddies outside.
yeah, sorry about that, listeners. Unexpected sound interference. But yeah, so that game is going to be a Souls-like. The demo is out for PlayStation 5 only, but the game itself is going to be multi-platform. It is not a PlayStation exclusive. Just the demo right now. And since Team Ninja is doing it and they made the Neo games as well that were kind of like Japanese Souls-likes, and by that I meant like Japanese ancient history era, not they're all Dark Souls is also made by Japanese companies. Anywho, what was really cool is Team Ninja ran a couple betas, active player betas, during for Neo prior to Neo 1's release, and I think Neo 2 as well, and they had people play it and then give feedback, and they really made adjustments and put out another demo, had people try it, and really tweaked that game to try and get it as good as possible. And that game did really, really well. It got a sequel. That sequel did really, really well, and I think they're taking that information, they're just applying it to Final Fantasy. And so I think this is like the first demo. They're gonna get the feedback from that. They're gonna probably do a second demo. Hopefully that will be on other consoles as well, and then they'll get more feedback and refine that game to a sheen, and by the time it's ready to launch. I have played the demo for about 2, maybe 3 hours at this point. It was broken for the first 48 hours of its initial listing on the PlayStation 5 PlayStation Store, but it did get fixed, and I have to say I'm having a lot of fun with it. It doesn't have a stamina bar, which is a big sticking point for me. That demo the controls feel really tight and really responsive. I'm choosing performance mode, so the game is definitely running at a lower resolution, but it is trying to hit 60. There are still hitches and things, but considering this is like an early beta trial, everything I'm experiencing is really neat, really tight. It does have difficulty settings. There isn't easy, normal, and hard. I'm playing on normal right now, but it's still a really decent challenge. Um, and there's been some very interesting quality of life stuff, and there's a couple little nitpicks I have other than performance issues. I want them to nail it. So I really like it. I'm really excited for it. And I know that trailer has terrible writing. The music's kind of wild, and I feel like by the end of it, it's going to have some good polish. So um, I'm excited for that. Capcom's announcements were pretty much a bust. I keep looking at Monster. I want to get into Monster Hunter, but Monster Hunter, the core series, I don't think the combat feels as good as I'd like it to. Monster Hunter Stories, I was like, what is this? This is anime story themed Monster Hunters because I think the monster designs are great, and it's like a turn-based action, not an action RPG, turn-based RPG of some sort that's semi-Pokemonish, where you're collecting the monsters to make them your buddies, monsties, monsters/buddies. I love the pun. Uh, or is that a port? I think that's a portmanteau actually. But yeah,
You're correct.
thank you. But nah. And then Capcom just not really showing off. They announced that there will be more DLC coming for Resident Evil 8, so they didn't really have anything planned. It seems that they just realized, oh man, this game is super popular, and Reverse, we couldn't get that out, so we're gonna actually make DLC for 8, which I'm excited for. I hope they do like an actual randomizer mode like the other ones, although this game is probably the weirdest one to try and fit in a randomizer mode. Um, but then I don't care about Reverse. I think it was a mistake to begin with for them to even try that. Whatever. I think Capcom didn't even have enough stuff to really show to have a conference. So I don't know why they even bothered. And then like you guys with Nintendo, I don't think I play Tekken. Tekken's okay. It's not my favorite. I have a lot of significant issues with Tekken, but I know how to play it, and I play it because it's one of my friends' favorite games. Fighting game episode. Me and Lawrence, he loves it. So Kazuya, that was really cool. That was a big surprise. Tekken is owned by Namco, part of Bandai Namco, which co-develops the Wii U version and the Switch version of Smash Brothers, Smash Brothers for Wii U and 3DS, and also Smash Ultimate. So this is their second representative besides Pac-Man, and that is pretty cool. And there's been some funny memes around all the dropping people off ledges. Uh, Street Fighter Cross Tekken memes have revived because the full versions of Street Fighter Cross Tekken had Ryu, Pac-Man, Kazuya, and Mega Man in there, and now they're all reunited in Smash Brothers to fight each other once again. So that's really cool. Metroid Dread, super cool. Gotta buy that. What else with Nintendo?
Your favorite series?
Mario Party?
No, Zelda.
Oh,
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. Sorry.
Breath
You know,
of the Wild 2.
I'm embarrassed now. I'm embarrassed. You really called me out there, Mike. But yeah, so Breath of the Wild 2 is still so far off that it doesn't even register, and that's why. So I'm gonna get Skyward Sword. I hope to replay it. Although when they were talking about it in the trailer, they really spooked me because they made it sound like you can only use the non-motion control right thumbstick thing on the Switch Lite.
No.
That's what it sounded like in the trailer, but that might have been because it was just super short and cut together. So I'm hoping
you have to be able to switch the Switch, like.
Right. So that's the thing. That sounded really weird, but I think that was
I'm confused. What do you mean? Say that again.
So Skyward Sword was made for the Wii with the Motion Plus to be like a big motion control game Zelda. As you heard from the original announcement, Skyward Sword HD will feature a mode where you no longer have to use motion controls. Link swinging his sword is now mapped to the right stick. This trailer made it sound like that feature's only available on the Switch Lite.
That wouldn't make any sense.
Only if you're Nintendo it wouldn't make sense. Because if you have a normal Switch, why wouldn't you play with the motion controls?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can just take the Joy-Cons off the rails and use the kickstand and play with the motion controls while you're on a plane.
yeah.
They
So
wouldn't program it differently for each one. That wouldn't make any sense.
I mean, the Super Mario Party didn't ship with online, and uh, Super Mario Maker
You
2
know,
didn't let you match with your friends. It only let you random match make online at launch.
You have to.
Nintendo makes bad decisions.
You have to swing your Switch Lite.
Mike, remember you can't play Clubhouse games with the Pro controller. You have to use the Joy-Con.
Oh yeah.
Even for like board games, you have to use the Joy-Con.
Yeah.
So they have been known to make strange decisions. Although both of those decisions have come from the same team, because the same team did Mario Party and Clubhouse games.
Wait, is
So,
Clubhouse? But is Clubhouse Games first party?
Yes, NDQ.
Really?
The same developer that did Mario Party did Clubhouse Games, and both
Are
of
they
those
doing-
have weird
Oh, wow.
decisions.
Are they doing the new one?
Probably. I don't know though.
Yeah. But yeah, so they showed more for Breath of the Wild. It's kind of going Breath of the Wild 2. That's kind of going in the direction I figured it would, which is they're going to add stuff in the sky. That's great. I'd like to see more. There's more gadgets and stuff. It looks like they're changing up some things. I'm really interested. I hope they don't bring back weapon breaking. I really do. I know that's been a hot thing online right now. I don't want it back. I played it on the emulator without it. It was fine. I loved it. I loved it more. So just don't. It doesn't serve it doesn't serve the purpose they think it does in
I
reality.
can't see it not coming back. Honestly, like I can't.
will say-
What are they?
yeah.
They're gonna change the one of the main things from the last game.
It's not a main thing. It's just a gimmick. They change a bunch of things between
It would
games.
be like them admitting that it was a bad design decision, and I don't think they want to do that.
I have faith that someone there is going to go.
They love crafting.
What you say?
They added. I said they love crafting. They added it to Animal Crossing.
Ugh.
Well, they did. Zelda Breath of the Wild did not have crafting. It had cooking, which is not the same thing.
That's what I mean.
You couldn't
Crafting,
make
cooking.
new weapons. I mean, if they give me a way to make weapons like unbreakable, I would take that as like, okay, you can build up to this. Then great, I can start having stuff. But the only way I can understand what I need for my tools is because then you just need grinding. If you go through and break all your good stuff on the way to getting to the thing, then once you get to the challenge, then you have to go back and collect all the stuff that you want, and then go. And that's not really that fun. They might think,
That's
oh, that's
ridiculous.
value. No, it's useless.
It's ridiculous that you have to wait for the Master Sword or something to charge, right?
Yeah, that's
like
also
charge.
really silly. That was like, well, we can't let the Master Sword actually break, so it just needs to recharge. I'm using strong air quotes on that, listeners. But yeah, so those were most of my big highlights. I was pretty much happy with this, although everything was kind of hit or miss. But I've got a bunch more games added to my list. Super happy that Metroid Prime's around the corner. I'm still playing
Metroid Dread, not Metroid Prime.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Metroid Dread. So that's great. Looking forward to that stuff there. But yeah, so this was an odd E3. We kind of heard like hints from the companies that the pandemic did a lot, the chip shortage did a lot, and it really disrupted work schedules. We had this fully digital E3. So I guess let's go there. What did you guys feel like about this E3? Did you at least like the formatting? Did you feel it was? Oh, sorry. One last big highlight. Yes, I watched the Xbox conference. The whole thing. That was probably Microsoft and Xbox's strongest presentation they've ever had at E3. And considering that just about everything there was coming to Game Pass, day and date, is fantastic. I still think they had a couple non-announcements. Like, okay, they showed Starfield. They didn't really show Starfield. They showed a CG in-engine trailer, which really didn't show us anything, and then they gave a release date.
And they also confirmed it's only on Xbox, which
big deal for a lot of people.
It should surprise no one, but it did make people mad.
Big deal for a lot of people. But it will be on Game Pass, so if those people want to get an Xbox, or have a PC, like it's Game Pass is the best deal in gaming. It's crazy.
xCloud might even be viable by the time Starfield comes out. You might not even need to buy an Xbox.
Might be true. Might be true. That'd be great. For some of those people, though, cloud gaming is far from being a even appropriate thing for that.
And
Um,
Starfield's very far from being released, so in
yep,
a couple decades, you know.
that's true. It will be delayed again because they can really Skyrim a few more times before that. Although that was funny. I saw a good. I'm sorry I don't remember your name online, but you are a funny mastermind that for the new Zelda because you're falling through the air, which is mimicking also the Skyward Sword imagery. Skyrule. So that's that's great. That's a great pun. Good on you. I will send you a cookie or I will buy you a cookie if I ever do of a cookie you are not allergic to or a treat of your choosing. Anyways, yeah, that was really cool. Microsoft showed off a lot. I'll just throw it out there, Elden Ring, because that wasn't really a part of any of the presentations. So we got the gameplay trailer for Elden Ring. That looks really cool.
Oh yeah, yeah. I was really. I guess I've never played a Souls game before, so I guess they're all like this. I shouldn't be surprised. But they have really cool designs in them. Like all
Yep.
the enemies look like amazing, and
Yep.
it might be enough for me even to try Elden Ring, even though I'll probably play it and be frustrated for a couple hours and give up. But like,
Yeah.
it looks really cool.
It does look really cool, and it just continues to show that their most boring designs are the characters you play as, which is now getting on my nerves because I saw the one Wolf Knight in there. I'm like, why can't FromSoft let me play as the Wolf Knight? Just let me be the Wolf Knight and then build the game around that, man. Come on, FromSoft, make us the Wolf Knight game. That would be super cool. I'd like to actually be a cool character instead of like this. And I get it, you don't want to be a cool character that dies all the time because that's part of the game design is to die all the time. But you know what? You should at least let me look cool. Let me look super cool as a wolf knight, please. Anyways, and maybe they can do a spin-off. Like Sekiro was a lot of fun. Sekiro is really cool. Once again, first game with no stamina bar, so I was able to beat it. So happy me. We'll see. I have to look into further Elden Ring gameplay. They said it's going to be easier, but there will be no difficulty settings. Makes perfect sense.
Did they say it's going to be easier?
That's what the headlines are that are going around online now.
Really? I did not see that. Maybe I have a chance.
Yeah, I think you can see it's the Kotaku article. They're like, it's
I
going to
feel
be
like
easier.
they need to make it a little easier when they make like an open world game, because I think a lot of the reasonableness of the challenge probably comes from the tight level design. So like I feel like you got to make some difficulty adjustments when you're just in an open world. But I don't know.
Agreed. I was suspecting the same. So it seemed only natural. Plus, it'll open up a little bit. But we'll see what else they changed with gameplay. I do like that they have the magical horse that you're just gonna be able to summon in. I'm like, that's a great way to use your in-universe conceits to build fun gameplay mechanics. So right now, Aces, I'm gonna look more into it. I'm hoping to give it a try, but I'll probably rent it or Game Pass it before I invest fully in it just to see. Um, yeah, those were pretty much the big E3 highlights for me as well. Although I will add into quick news is that they finally did re-announce that they've reopened the Xbox Design Studio for the Xbox Series controllers. They still don't have the shade of green I want. But not like I need to buy any more controllers, at least. But who knows? Maybe
Yeah,
they'll
I vaguely recall you making some sort of commitment to that subject.
Was it possibly, or I don't know. I'm not the kind of guy to make resolutions, but yeah, no, I know. But still, I would totally buy one of those custom controllers in my favorite colors. If they make an elite one that has like the good back bumpers and stuff, then I will buy that because I like those controllers so much at this point. But yeah, that was it. So going to the full thing, did you guys like how E3 was set up this year with all the digital presentations and even like demos and stuff like that, or do you long for them to go back to like the stage presentations and only doing like 3 days?
I don't. Oh, I think digital is fine. It doesn't really matter for me. I'm not at the actual event, so I don't care if
it's kind of fun to watch like a live presentation and then like see either the audience, like if it's the Nintendo audience, they just clap their hands off for anything that's there. Everybody loves what Nintendo announced.
Well, Nintendo's never going back to.
Well, I'm just saying, like in past, it has been fun to see the audience reaction, especially when it's something where like people are all but booing. They're just like, crickets, and but you can't get that when it's just a stream on the internet. But I don't know if we're ever going back to that.
Yeah, I don't really see a difference. I mean, I see a difference, but I don't like. It doesn't really affect me personally, I guess. So it doesn't. So I'm not like, oh, I want to go back to the days where they're in person because I'm not the one going to E3.
Yeah. I think the only thing I felt was kind of annoying is that I would have liked the information to be a little more condensed. I wish they would have scheduled things a little bit tighter. I guess they really don't have to, considering that everything was digital, but I would have preferred much tighter days instead of I'm watching like maybe one or two conferences at a time. Or no, like one or two conferences a day, and the information was split up over almost. I think the official E3 was like starting on Saturday or something like that, and then they just went through till like Thursday with stuff. I would have preferred. I do prefer the tighter thing where it's like a bunch of big things. I love those days where I'm watching Nintendo in the morning and PlayStation in the evening, and like just blows my mind. And I just watch
They used to
Xbox
be
the previous
really
day.
long, weren't they? Nintendo's was only 40 minutes. They were never that short. I guess that's pretty
Well,
short.
Nintendo did 40 minutes of the main presentation,
Oh,
the
they
main
did the
direct, and then did
Treehouse,
3 hours of the Treehouse, which I think is great because I think that's a great way to do it. You get all the announcements up front, and then they're like, we're gonna do the deep dives after, and then you can tune in for the game or games that you care about. And I think that's great. I think the way they do that
Yeah.
is actually the optimal way.
It was sad that PlayStation wasn't there. Like,
Yeah,
in
they
any
were
capacity.
noticeably absent.
Yeah, I think it did make a huge difference, PlayStation not being there, especially with some of the hotly anticipated titles that they've got coming up. They did that
I,
Horizon presentation before, and that was pretty much it.
I thought E3 or EA would show something about Star Wars, but I guess they're waiting till EA Play, right?
EA is
Oh,
not
that
at
would make
E3.
sense.
EA wasn't at E3 this year.
I thought they were.
I don't think they were.
I thought they showed Madden or something.
Battlefield. They showed the new Battlefield.
Battlefield.
That
Yeah,
was
I thought
that was
I
about
could have
it.
swore they were there.
I thought I saw some reporting that they weren't going to be at E3, but maybe I was
Well,
wrong.
But
EA
that
EA Play, they'll be there.
but that
Okay.
means they didn't have a dedicated conference because they can still put
Yeah.
like game trailers in separate
Yeah,
presentations.
that's
Like,
what I mean. They weren't going to have a conference like Ubisoft or Square or
which is fine.
Nintendo.
I don't think Ubisoft, I don't think Square, I don't think Capcom need their own conferences. I think that they're overblown with that. These companies are not producing enough games to uh, in my opinion, justify having their own conferences. They don't.
Well,
But
I mean,
but if it's
a year
digital,
after it's COVID year though. I mean, it's hard to say whether this is going to be the norm. Like, probably next year we'll have a lot more games to show than they did this year.
Not even in general, even like the last 2 years or so when some of the companies have broken out. I'm like, if you have only like 6 games to show off, even Bethesda when they were separate and doing their own thing, I'm like, no, what are you doing? What's the point? And it's pretty much just bluster in order to boost their stonks. So what's the point? They could have just bundled that stuff in with whoever they were doing a marketing partnership or put a bunch of trailers online and done their solo breaking up presentations that way. Because some people are only going to care about some games. But I'm trying to think. Devolver. So here's the thing. Devolver puts a lot of production value into their thing, but they only showed off like maybe 5 or 6 games. It was very few, and it was mostly skits. Granted, their skits are funny, but I really did just kind of I watched like 5 minutes of the opening thing, and I'm like, oh wow, okay, you're over 5 minutes with your skit. Well, now I'm gonna start skipping, and I just looked at all the games there, and I saw some good games. But yeah, I think that unless you're publishing like a dozen or so games, you don't really need a presentation. I think like Nintendo, Sony, and Xbox, they are the ones who Nintendo, PlayStation, Xbox are the ones that do it right. They have enough. They show off enough games because they have their first party mixed in with third party, and I can't even think of another publisher specifically that could do it. Valve could definitely do one if they wanted for PC with Steam and show off a bunch of games, so that's pretty neat. Oh, there's the
What
PC
about
showing.
Sega?
Sega at this point neither. Like they couldn't even be bothered to show more Sonic information after they did their Sonic thing a couple weeks ago.
What about
So-
Atari?
Definitely not. So
Konami.
Konami doesn't make games anymore. Stop, Ed. You can't stop hurting
Well-
people's feelings.
I do the Atari. What is it? The Atari.
VCS.
Yes, and their new hotels. We can watch a tour of one of their new hotels.
Although we can reiterate, this wasn't shown at E3. This was just announced in the weeks leading up to E3 that Bloodstained 2 from which is the spiritual successor series made by the same creative, I think it's like creative director or something. I forget how Igarashi, what his official titles were, from the Castlevania series. So very happy for that. I had a lot of fun with Bloodstained. It could definitely use a few more tweaks and improvement, but they've got a good foundation. They've added more DLC to it, which is great. So they announced that they're going to make a sequel, so I'm excited for that. So Castlevania lives on in Bloodstained. Get excited, people. The Netflix series quick shout out, that is amazing. And so if Konami really did want to make another game, they can just look to the show to figure that out, because they can. That show is amazing. That's how you just take that story and scenario.
I'm surprised they
make a video
don't.
game.
You know, that seems like a good opportunity, given that people are really excited about the show, and obviously Bloodstained is pretty like that. Seems like there's something there that they are just passing up on.
Yeah, I just don't think Konami likes to make games anymore. I don't think they were. I think it's just the corporation thing caught up where they're not making enough money off it, so they don't care. And I think with Kojima and everything, they might even be worried that their employees are going to get uppity or something like that because of, if a director gets big. I don't know. It's weird. Konami's weird.
Oh,
Yeah,
Pokemon.
God forbid someone is successful.
Pokemon showed off the new help me.
Sure.
The new
remakes. The remakes.
No. It was after E3, but the why can't I think of what it is?
The MOBA, Pokemon Unity.
Yeah. Pokemon Unity. They showed off
I
like
don't
which
wanna talk about
Pokemon are gonna what?
I don't want to talk about a MOBA. I haven't seen a MOBA I've liked Super Monday Night Combat. Though some friends, I've got some other friends that have that are apparently super into Smite, so it's on Game Pass. I told them I'd be willing
They
to
had
give
like
it a try.
a cool little trailer, and they showed off the which Pokemon are gonna be in it and stuff like that.
Even Pokken, which was the fighting game, I was like, why did you overcomplicate this with the near and far mode? Jeez, come on. Can't you just make a video game? Stop getting weird. Stop getting too weird. Like they get weird and then they get too weird. It's exactly what happened with Death Stranding. It got weird and then it got too weird.
Yeah, but then it got even weirder, so it like went around again, and then it was just the right amount of weird.
I didn't hate
Ed!
Pokken.
Death Stranding director's cut.
How could you not talk about Death Stranding director's cut?
I swear I made a document in Google Docs, and I have Death Stranding director's cut on it. I had a lot of things on it. I tried to like focus on the big things because I had a lot, and I didn't want to like take up 3 hours talking about everything. But yeah, that was one of them.
They're gonna add
it.
a third B. It's gonna be a BBB.
Is that really what's going to happen? I don't know. I didn't actually. I just
but I would laugh if that's a thing somewhere in that game. It's a BBB. Be my BBB. BBB. Just Mads Mikkelsen. BBB. BBB.
Yeah, I probably won't end up replaying it, but I have a friend I know who will. He platinumed the original game, so he needs he's looking for an excuse to replay it. He really loved the story and the gameplay loop.
Nice. I am looking forward to looking at whatever those new cutscenes are on YouTube. That'll be really fun. Possibly.
I bet it's gonna look fantastic when they put it on PS5 because it was already a really impressive game.
And it was really well optimized for PC. So yeah, it'll look really good. Yep, that's.
I might have to buy it just to show my support. Although it's surely going to be $70. So.
Oh, is that too expensive? You can't support. You got to be more fake fanning.
Yeah, I guess so.
But yeah, But yeah, so that we remember that. Yeah, overall, I think I just like the tighter schedule in the day because they're all like trailers now. So just put the announcements like back to back, like an hour apart. Get like 5 things in a day, and then just that way we get it all there for 3 days so we can talk about it and digest it for the rest of that. Still stop it with your CG only trailers. Stop it with gameplay with trailers that don't show gameplay. Stop telling us about games that aren't coming out within 6 months. Yada yada yada.
So you think they should have said nothing about Breath of the Wild 2 until like next year?
Correct. They made a mistake announcing it too early, and like Bayonetta 3 hasn't gotten any new news, and it hasn't even gotten a second trailer.
Nobody could have predicted this last 18 months. So you can be like, it can be forgiven. Like maybe this is like the one mulligan people get. Like they can just write it off and say, COVID. We didn't know that was going to happen. We thought it was going to come out in 2020. We swear.
No, well, so that would get a free pass if I would completely agree with your point there. If they hadn't been doing this for years. Like this is a problem that just continues. So this is the one time they had actual reasons to like delay things because the world was on fire. But announcing Bayonetta 3 that many years ago, or Metroid Prime 4, and then all of a sudden like not announcing Metroid Dread, and now they announced Metroid Dread and it's coming out in a couple months. Excellent. What was the other thing? The Breath of the Wild 2, like they're like, hey, it could have been out this year. Maybe we don't know if it was ever planned for the end of 2021. And Zelda games notoriously get delayed. So it's one thing for them to. I'm not mad at delays. I'm mad at announcing games when you know that game's not coming out. They don't announce these games like Dread was ready, and they were like, we can put a date on there. Now, if they still said they were going to delay Dread, I'd be like, okay. You
keep
delayed it.
saying Dread, and all I can think of is the movie, the Judge Dredd movie with Carl Urban. Have you seen that?
I have not seen it.
It's so good. That's what we need, a Judge Dredd game. But you keep saying Dread, and that's what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not hearing DREAD.
Yeah, right. But then the other, what was the other example? Like I forget if it was. I think it was Game Awards where Capcom showed off that new IP that's coming out in 2022. And I was like,
Pragmata.
Pragmata, yes. I'm like,
that was last year's Sony event.
Okay, right. Last year, they already were saying 2022. Like, not even before the pandemic was in full swing.
Yeah, that was bad.
Don't do that. Don't do that. There's no reason other than your stonks, and we don't care about your stonks. Oh, that's right. I was joking about it before that. They should just have a separate presentation slideshow.
For investors.
Or just for investors. So we get like these actual like things we can actually care about, announcement that we can care about, and then hey, if you want to see like what we're showing to our investors here, you can go look at it, because like they have to do like the transcripts and board meeting stuff that they that we get a lot of information from. So yeah, just have that over there instead of wasting our precious time knowing that there's going to be all this downtime mixed in of things. Oh, that looks cool. Oh, it's like 12 months. It's
Ryan, you have to become an investor.
Yeah.
I know, right? I have to abuse the system and underpay my workers until I'm a billionaire, and then I have to do a huge heel turn. I'm like, no, trust me, guys. I'm gonna like go fix the video game industry.
It's easy. It's easy.
I mean, I just become my own video game publisher and properly fund ideas and stuff like that. But
I was just thinking though, did we have any games that were announced this E3 that were like that? And we did. Starfield.
Yeah. Although Starfield they gave an exact date on, which is a little bit different, but that game we knew was like, it's one of those things where some of this is known quantity that
is
going to
that
take
the game
forever.
that's in development for like 20 years?
About. But it's the new Bethesda like Elder Scrolls in space game. So yeah. And also that's another thing, like Bethesda announced Elder Scrolls 6 that like, yes, we are making it, like a couple of years ago. Like, it's of course you're making it. We know you're making it, but don't announce it till you can actually show why we want to play it.
Some of that's on fans though. Like some fans would just like will not stop hounding, and I'm sure these people get like hounded on Twitter. Like, when are you making this? When are you making this? Like, they gotta say like, yes, yes, they are making it, but yes, we are making it. So
Do you think stops them once they know it's out, because then it's like, when is it? Where is it? Let's show it. Let's see it. Oh, it's there. Like, I don't think it actually
Yeah,
slows things down. So it's better to just
yeah.
be like, look, the Elder Scrolls series isn't canceled. Like, you have Elder Scrolls 5, like you have Skyrim, you have that. More Elder Scrolls games will come. You've got Skyrim, you got Elder Scrolls Online. We're gonna do, like, I think you can handle that fine with, like, look, the series is not dead, and we'll announce what the new one is when we actually have
But what
something to
about the
show
new
about it.
Call of Duty?
They might not be making it. They might be out of money.
We need the
Call
next
of Duty
Call of
only.
Duty.
Well, that's actually an exception, because Call of Duty is always 6 months away when they show it off at E3. Because Call of Duty just comes out in October and November, so
That's true.
it's yearly. Like, that one doesn't miss a beat. So it technically, I'll give that one point. I'll give that one compliment, is Call of Duty constantly is announced the same year it's coming out.
Well, same thing with the sports games. They're
Yeah, but sports games don't
Oh, it's-
count. Sports games aren't good.
no, some of them are good.
No, they're
Especially
not.
some of the older ones where you could do like all this crazy stuff with like in hockey and football where you could like
The
think
newer
they could be
sports
good,
games, more
They,
specifically.
they could be good before they were allowed to do microtransactions. Like pre-microtransactions, I could see a sports game like
no, but
that.
they used to do like crazy stuff. Like in the hockey, you'd check somebody and they'd go like flying like 20 feet and like all this ridiculous stuff that were like you could like tackle people after the play was over. Like, but
So-
I mean, I enjoy
Mhm.
other sports games too. Just not just those ones, but
So I wonder, because if you treat it like it's a subscription, because you buy the one game, you pay the 60, and then you have that game, like, why charge people one time 60 and then whatever the used game prices and the the sales and discounts that eventually happen? Then just charge everyone, because 60 is, yeah, a one-time charge is 60, which would be, why not charge people $10 a month for whatever the game is, and then it just constantly roster updates and feature updates, and then you can get $120 a year off of one thing. I don't know why they don't.
What they probably should do is like some kind of. I mean, I think they did have a subscription at one point, but they should probably do like make the ultimate game and then just like. But they shouldn't have select deals. They shouldn't have like, EA shouldn't be the only one who's allowed to make a football game or a hockey game.
Oh, you mean like exclusive rights to the NFL? Yeah,
that's
That I
just
agree.
like it's baloney. Like,
So good that MLB got out of that. Now we'll see how that goes, because if that ends up doing really well as multi-platform, which I'm going to anticipate it will, because I think baseball is one of the smaller audiences. You can correct me if I'm wrong on that, but from my understanding, like, baseball's still holding up, but it's not as popular as like American football, or I don't even know where it ranks in terms of like next to basketball. Um, but and it's definitely not as big. Like, FIFA is the biggest sport worldwide. Soccer or European football is the bigger sport worldwide. So I don't see why they can't make like a persisting online service where they can keep the subscriptions going, keep and make more money off it, rather than do these one-time deals, which are probably always online games anyway, so it really doesn't matter. And then they just keep updating it and they'll have more money to maybe make it better, instead of always having to restart the games with like different generations and things like that. I don't know. But MLB,
Ubisoft is doing that with Rocksmith. Didn't they announce that music game Rocksmith Plus, and that's just going to be a subscription. Where like it used to be with all those old rhythm and music games, you buy the game and then you have to buy all the songs. But like nobody's going to do that anymore. You might as well just pay monthly and get access to all the songs. So I don't know. Maybe those kind of live updated games are going that direction anyway. But that was just.
I guess. There's annoying things about subscriptions, but I guess we've already talked about that in our subscription episode.
A little bit, but if you had different thoughts you want to reiterate, but I mean, would you subscribe to NHL, Mike?
I probably would for like a year and see how it, or for a couple of years and see how it is or something. If it was only like, I guess it depends on the price. Like, how much would I be paying?
How much would you be willing to pay?
$10 a month.
That would probably be the max that I'd be willing to pay.
There you go.
Sure.
So $10 a month, and then they'd get 120 out of you instead of 60 for the year. And then,
but I would only do it if like other friends were playing the game too, because it's not very fun to play, or it's not as fun to play by yourself.
Most likely because the whole reason sports games are where they are is because the same people always buy them, despite the fact that their quality continues to decrease. And now the microtransactions supplement it because so now even an even smaller audience is funding the games rather than expanding in
What you
terms of
do
player
is you
base.
just wait. You just wait until roster's expired, and then you buy the old game for like $5.
Yeah. So, but that's why they also do the microtransactions. But that's instead of addressing the problem, they just solve the problem in a different, or they solve the problem in a way that makes sense for them rather than for players. Um, but yeah. So, anyways, um, yeah, we'll see how MLB goes. So hopefully for that, I agree with you that it shouldn't be exclusive rights there. So
Well, they already lost Star Wars, so
Star
next.
Wars deal expired. That's going other places. Oh, Ubisoft. I didn't really pay attention to anything Ubisoft had other than I heard about Mario and Rabbids 2, which really surprised me that that wasn't the Smash character that was announced. But hey, we got one more Smash character after Kazuya to see, so maybe that's Rabbids or whoever that is. And Nintendo
Do
better
you think,
better announce a banger.
Do you think Sakurai likes rabbits though? Because he.
Remember that this second six was picked by Nintendo.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it's got to be Waluigi.
Nintendo told Sakurai who to pick.
Bullet Bill.
So so that or who to make. So that's it very well could. So he didn't really have much of a choice. Although he is still kind of getting some stuff in there. I mean, I'm sure I don't think Tekken's his favorite fighting game, but he's a big fighting game fan, so he is probably very happy that another fighting game character's in there.
Mr. Nintendo will be the next character.
Mr. Nintendo, the final Smash Brothers character, the ultimate
there-
Smash Brothers character.
Was there a different mascot ever for Nintendo? I mean, I know they had Game and Watch, but like, was there anyone else who like?
Mario's the mascot for Nintendo.
Wasn't there like some Nintendo Power guy?
Yes,
something?
Captain N. was
Captain,
that
yeah.
was that one they did the cartoon, they did the mini comics inside Nintendo Power.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would be wild if they did a Captain N character. And in fact, I think that's kind of the craziest thing they could do. He's technically not a video game character. I don't think he's actually been in any Nintendo games. Unless there's weird rights issues that like would immediately
But
make him.
Rob is not a Nintendo character. He's a toy.
Rob is technically a character in the video game, but he's also an accessory.
Okay.
So I'd have to double check. I don't remember if
Captain N made
if Rob ever appears on the screen, but you're sort of right there. So I think it's like a hybrid.
It's gonna be somebody popular for sure. Like, there's no way. Like the last character, they're not gonna like. They're not.
I mean,
gonna
they
make
put
it,
out
like,
they put out Byleth as the last one for the first pack, and people weren't too happy about that.
Yeah.
So they don't really care. They got your money already.
And my pet theory is that got moved. That was due to scheduling. They had to move things around because it was probably going to be Minecraft Steve.
because of, yeah.
So like I said, listeners, that's my pet theory is that Minecraft Steve was probably going to be the fifth one, but it was so difficult to program all the stages for his ability with the spawning in bricks that they were like, nah, we're not going to be able to get him at the end here, so just push him back. And while that maybe that wouldn't have made much sense considering that Banjo and Minecraft Steve, but that's my pet theory is that they put Byleth, they moved back Steve, they moved up Byleth because Byleth was a much easier character to make. So yeah, no, so we'll see how E3 goes next year. Obviously there's still plenty of games coming out. We'll see more announcements going through. Most likely we're going to see the Switch Pro announcement at some point by the end of the year. If the other rumors pan out and it's still coming out at this year, then we're probably going to hear about it like a month before you can do pre-orders and like 2 months before it's out or something like that. But who knows? Just looking forward to that being real. There's plenty of games to play. Game Pass is the best deal in gaming. And not the craziest thing, but yeah, COVID definitely made a lot of game. There was fewer game announcements because of that, and certain things have definitely been moved around. So it's not without that, but there's still ways you can do that without making it feel so bad. Or don't even bother doing a big presentation. Just put out press release, a couple trailers, gameplay presentation. whatever. I think you could do it smaller and don't have to have too much PR hype, especially when there's already too many games to play. Especially you can't emphasize how good some indie games are out there. 12 minutes, I'll give a shout out because I'm really excited to play that one. I'll name some of the other indie games I was looking at quickly just to make my point. See, looking Back for Blood. That's a bigger indie game, but it's still an indie game. Sable, I was playing the demo. That's pretty cool. Looking forward to Solstice, Silt, Replaced. Replaced was during the thing. Somerville looks interesting. Inscription, Shadow Warrior 3 were a number of like independent games that were displayed at various conferences. So go ahead and look those up. Look at all the game. You can find a bunch of articles with the game lists out there of what was announced, and there's still tons of stuff always coming to all the different digital storefronts on consoles and PC. Um, yeah, that's pretty much
Yeah,
all my thoughts on
I,
E3.
I was gonna say between this what I got earlier this year and what's coming next year, or excuse me, what I got in the first 6 months of this year versus what's coming for the rest of the year, I'm quite happy with gaming in 2021. So E3 and this year in general have been good for me. I'm excited for the rest of the year.
Yeah. I got more than enough stuff to get me through the rest of this year and most of the way through the next year. Yeah, so we got a few extra minutes here. So did you guys want to talk about anything else on the episode? Otherwise, we'll call it a wrap.
I'm looking at the list I made. Did I forget anything? Oh, you and I were talking about. I just told you earlier that there was that Far Cry Blood Dragon anime that's coming to Netflix.
Yeah, that's wild.
That does sound wild. I definitely want to check that out. It's cool. It's cool that there are actually some it's cool that you can look at an upcoming video game adaptation in an animation or film and actually think like, hey, maybe that might actually be good. Like the expectation is higher now. It isn't just it's based on a video game. It's going to be garbage. Like now you can actually go in with. And maybe I'm being too optimistic. Maybe I really should set my expectations. But like, there's kind of the feeling that it could be good, where that was never the case before.
Yeah, right now it's very exceptional. Castlevania is the new crowning jewel. I'm gonna state is the new crowning jewel of video game adaptations in terms of like video media, dethroning the original Mortal Kombat movie handedly. They did do that animated Mortal Kombat tale, which is basically a remake of the first movie called Mortal Kombat Scorpion's Revenge, and they're also doing a sequel to that. So clearly that's doing well. I still have to watch it. I've heard really good things about it, so I can't wait to check that out. The World Ends with You. We were talking about that. That animation just recently
I've been watching
wrapped.
that. It's pretty good. And you don't like it, but people liked Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic the Hedgehog. It's not an animation,
People
but
have
it was good. It was good.
Overall opinion is mostly positive for Sonic the Hedgehog live action movie, and that's getting a sequel, so we'll see what happens there. Sonic's getting another Netflix series. They also announced there's going to be another animated short series that they're doing online that's based in Sonic Colors. So Sonic continues to be a multimedia giant.
Cuphead's getting
Cuphead's coming.
animated.
We'll see how that goes. That seems very interesting. Dota also recently got its own anime. I heard it's pretty decent, but I haven't heard a ton of people. But that might be because I don't know a lot of people who care about Dota, so I have to watch that and check it out, give it a chance. Resident Evil has the Netflix movie, the Netflix series, it has its live action movie and its live action and the CG series coming. Plus, Resident Evil's getting a new live action theatrical movie. So
Last of Us is getting an HBO series.
Last of Us has the HBO series. Castlevania's got the sequel series coming. But the only one that's really proven, I'd say, is Castlevania to be exceptional. I have to check out the Mortal Kombat one and see if that's actually really good. WB Animation has been doing really well with its animated features, so I'm tentatively excited. But yeah, that stuff's good too. There's still a lot of that multimedia video stuff. So, but I don't think there's enough of a pattern yet for us to say this is great. And I think it was official. I forget if it was officially announced or just super leaked that Kingdom Hearts is finally getting a Disney Plus series. So I I have my fingers crossed.
Oh,
That,
that's good. That might actually get me to sub to Disney Plus again for a month or two.
yeah,
That would be
don't
cool.
no idea what direction. It was like totally leaked. It's either totally leaked or was just soft announced that like, yep, we're gonna make a Kingdom Hearts Disney Plus series, which makes perfect sense. Considering that the mobile game just wrapped and did a bunch of big plot reveals and stuff, setting up the future of the Kingdom Hearts story. So yeah, that's stuff to look for. Oh, the Mario movie. Maybe we'll finally get a trailer
Oh
next
yeah,
year
Illumination is doing that.
for
They did
Illumination's Mario
Minions
movie.
and Sing.
Yep.
I'm pretty confident they'll be able to do something good. I like their films.
Yeah. So we will see how that goes. It would be funny for Mario to not have as positive a movie reception as a Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
What about the Crash and Spyro
I think
movie?
that's a distinct possibility. I think it's possible, yeah. Because the Sonic the Hedgehog, that did well. People liked it. I know you didn't like it, but
It's
I
just not what
liked
I
it.
wanted.
Yeah.
I
Not
want
much.
I want a sequel to Detective Pikachu.
Ooh, that was good too. Oh.
There was some news about that. I think it hasn't been greenlit or something like that for whatever
Uh,
reason. But Pokemon keeps putting out movies anyways, and they've got the anime, so it's not like there's any shortage of Pokemon content.
But
But
like
I agree.
Detective Pikachu was the first good Pokemon movie. At least it's the first one I feel like I could like watch as an adult and not like I liked it. So
I think they pretty much nailed live action for Pokemon. That was quite a feat. I was really worried, and then I think they managed to do it. Some of the Pokemon still look a little too realistic, but I think most of the Pokemon actually settled in a place that wasn't too uncanny valley. That it was very comfortable. So yeah, that's stuff to look forward to. We've still got plenty of games and whatnot, and maybe we'll do a what's not. We got to talk about our schedule because I did say before that we were going to kick off the series of platform exclusive things starting with Nintendo, but we may have some schedule changes based on our goals with the podcast. So can't make a promise there, but we'll definitely keep doing the topic focused stuff, and we might try some new things. You know, we're still working it out. We're having fun with it, and we're excited. So thank you everyone for joining us today to hang out and talk about E3. We hope you're all excited. Feel free to sound off about what you're excited for in the comments. And we did start up the new YouTube channel. The Option Menu Crew YouTube channel is now there, although I will still be putting it in the current playlist so that way all the stuff's historically kept at least in the playlist for now. But they will be upgraded, so we'd appreciate if you want to follow. Go ahead and subscribe to that channel now to get updates on the newest episodes. So thank you so much, everyone. Mike, Ed, thank you guys, and
Thank you.
let's all have an excellent night. Game on.
Hi.